We have head coach Mike Leach. Again, if you'll keep your mics muted and put your name in the chat, we'll begin opening it up for questions.
Coach, close game tonight, and for the second straight week, your team on the road undermanned really fought to the end. I'm curious, just immediately after, where do you think the difference in this game was tonight? What wound up being the difference?
Well, both teams, I thought it was a pretty explosive game. I thought both teams played fairly explosive. I would say, and then when that happens, nearly anything can happen. And that's how this thing kind of unfolded. I thought the first half we missed some opportunities. Some of them were self-inflicted. Some of them, the ball just didn't really bounce very well. We'd be a little bit short on third downs, and one of them I probably should have gone for on fourth down. And then, but I thought we played really hard. I thought we played extremely hard. I thought we finished the game. We just didn't win the game. And, I thought we contained their offense better than most teams have. And then, we dealt ourselves out of some drives, which is unfortunate because they really didn't stop us for the most part. We stopped ourselves, but we played really hard and it didn't go our way. So we're still getting older and still improving.
On that note, Matt and I were kind of breaking down the fourth quarter up here, and in the fourth quarter at Georgia last week, the team was outgained by that Georgia team. Tonight in the fourth quarter, your team outgained Ole Miss. And are you seeing, even though you're playing a lot of young guys, are you seeing the maturity and being able to move the ball in pressure situations when the game's on the line? Is it getting better week to week?
I think it definitely is. And then we're playing with only 45 scholarship guys, so that makes it challenging too. But and so then there's a point, but I thought our guys kept playing hard the whole time, the whole duration, because, there wasn't a lot of reinforcements out there. So anyway, I'm proud of how they played. You got young guys playing extremely hard, and they're improving, not as fast as they'd like, everybody else would like, but we're improving, and, it was one of the grittier games I've been involved in. My team's playing, I thought, and then,
Thank you.
All right, we'll open it up with Ben.
Mike, you guys got over 400 yards passing from Will tonight. It seemed like the offensive line held up kind of like you hoped. What did you kind of see from him, and how did he kind of compete tonight?
I thought the offensive line pass protected better. I think we're getting better and better at pass protecting. I thought Will did a good job keeping extending plays with his feet. I thought our receivers, definitely on some of them in scramble situations, reacted and got in positions, to make plays. I think that Will's pocket awareness is definitely improving, so that helps out the O-line, and the O-line's improving, so that helps him out. And so, we can still improve. There's still all kinds of places to improve, but, we're heading the right direction.
Steve?
Coach, it seemed like you got some pretty good wide receiver play. I know you haven't reviewed the film yet, but how do you feel like guys like Malik Keith and Jaden Walley played for you tonight?
I thought Jaden played really well. I thought Jaden played really well. I thought Malik did some good explosive things, kind of ran out of gas late. I think Jaden's really playing extremely well for a true freshman.
John?
Mike, how much better do you think your guys have gotten these last couple of weeks? Where have you kind of seen progression, and where do you kind of want to see improvement from your guys?
Well, we can improve everywhere. I can't think of anywhere we can improve. So we just have to keep improving. I mean, I think everybody's in that boat, but I think, you know, we're young enough that we'll improve by a pretty good margin. You know, I think as these guys get older and get in a rhythm and that type of thing, and you know, get in a regular season where you kind of have the rhythm of the routine and all that stuff.
Go to Joel.
Yeah, Coach. Mike, on the next to last drive, when you guys were down 10, I think you had to call a couple timeouts on that drive. Just hindsight being what it is, were you pleased with, I guess, the time management on that drive? Is there anything you would have liked to have done differently?
No, I was very pleased with the time management on the drive, certainly on my part. And our sidelines part, there were those that I wasn't pleased with, but that won't be addressed for a variety of reasons. Some of them potentially financial, and but yeah, I mean, you know, save all that for the last drive. I mean, burn it this drive, save it the last drive. I mean, you know, it's kind of like asking, okay, we're going to stab you. Which knife you want to get stabbed with? I mean, so you may not have liked the way those timeouts went. I thought they went great. So when you coach your team, you can go ahead and call the timeouts how you want.
Tyler.
Mike, I know you guys recovered from it and you stayed in the ball game, but how big was that fumble at the goal line from Austin Williams? Looks like you guys were going in to tie it up at 7-7. Next thing you know, you're down 14-0. How much did that?
Yeah, that was a blow. That was a blow. It should have been. We were in a position to put ourselves up 14-7, and you know, we didn't. You know, I mean, then what I did admire about Austin is he rallied, played extremely tough, drug two guys in the end zone on a play, which I thought was very impressive, and you know, he didn't let anything rattle him. I mean, it's an unfortunate play. And yeah, I mean, but that's the thing that I really admired about our guys is they didn't quit on anything. And a lot of times guys will hang their head and fold when something like that happens, but he didn't. I mean, he was one of our most competitive players out there, I thought.
We'll go to Joe.
Yeah, Coach, you said that there's a lot of areas.
Talk loud, I could barely hear you.
Coach, you said there was a lot of areas that you guys need to improve in. What are you most encouraged about going forward?
Our effort, and our effort and the way we finish this game. That's the most encouraging. I think that's where everything starts. Because if you have good, honest effort and do it with clarity, you're going to improve. You know, because that's where everything starts. I mean, there's no improvement without that. You know.
We've got time for just a couple more. We'll go to Ben.
Mike, you guys got a couple of fourth down stops that kind of kept you guys in the first half. Was that something you expected for them to do a lot, be aggressive in those short situations?
No, I was quite surprised at that. I haven't done a COVID count of them. Everybody's quite secretive about it. Yeah, they did go for fourth down more than I expected. And I mean, there was definitely a point where I was wondering to what extent they hated their kicker or their punter. And, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, they sure did. And they looked good at it a couple times too. So I don't know. Hopefully next time around, those two guys can win the popularity contest over there, but it looks like they're down right now.
Steve.
Coach, when you hired Zach Arnett, it was a little bit, I guess, out of left field, but he has kind of grown into a fan favorite with the staff. I mean, how would you kind of assess his performance so far as a first-year play caller and defensive coordinator?
I think he's done a really good job. I think he's done an extremely good job, you know. And then I you know, the part of it is and you guys don't know Zach quite as well as I do, but there's a lot of qualities of Zach that is Mississippi State. I mean, it's just very congruent to the grit and the personality that exists at Mississippi State. I mean, you know, it's he's kind of an understated guy, but everything is crystal clear what's on his mind, and very aggressive schematically, and we're getting closer on that too. We're closer and closer, and we gave up some explosives, which sucks. But the thing is we nearly had that quarterback down over and over and over, and we're going to get better at that. And we're going to get to where some of those 50-50 balls don't go to the other guy. And also they're not going to be 50-50 balls. And we just have to keep scratching and clawing that direction.
Joel.
Mike, you guys kind of have a impromptu bye week next week. Just how valuable is that going to be given some of the, injury/COVID issues you guys have? And just, I guess, what is the plan for the next week?
It'll be similar to the last unsolicited bye week we had. We that bridge. We just I don't even know if it's 100% fully official. We have a bye week. I've heard the same rumors you have, and I suspect you're probably correct. I'm extremely curious. One, if that's final, and two, there's some finality on who we might play, so I know what film to watch. But anyways, we're shorthanded, so hopefully we can gain some ground there.
We'll wrap up with Tyler.
Mike, this is obviously usually a game that's at the very end of the regular season, and there's a lot of emotion that goes into it. I'm curious where the guys were in the locker room, what that mood was like, and where do you go from here, knowing that you still have to play 2 more games and get these guys fired up to play a couple more?
Well, I think they're all excited to play games. As a matter of fact, I think they'd probably like to play a couple more. People don't really dread playing football. They sign up to do it. They practice to do it. So if you and your colleagues could start a miniature campaign to generate 3 more games, most of our players would appreciate it. I'm sure there's a few that wouldn't. And those guys may need a little addition by subtraction, but we've had a lot of subtraction. I'd like to have more games if we can. And then now that a number of these other conferences are playing, maybe we can cross-conference it a little bit,
All right. Thank you, Coach Leach.
All right. Appreciate it.
That fumble on the goal line, what did you kind of see? Where'd they kind of come from? What kind of happened there?
On goal line situations, if you're not quite in, we've talked about it as a team, our coaches and coaches. You don't reach unless, it's 4th down or end of the game. So I had a mistake. I reached out with the ball, should have tucked it and just try to get my way in. Yeah, that was a mistake completely on me. I shouldn't let that happen.
Tyler?
I feel like we've asked you over and over after some of these games about Will's performance, but just had another career day. It seems like he keeps improving every week. How do you feel like he played today? And, what is it about him that kind of allowed him to come out here in an atmosphere like this, in a game like this for the first time, and have such a successful day?
I feel he played well. Great, good control of the offense. He knows where to go. He's quick with his decisions. I played really well. Our offense played hard, played well. Will just has that confidence, from his preparation and just everything he's put into this to where he is now. He comes out, just cool, calm, confident. I honestly thought he had a really good execution on this day. And I think it's good to see our growth from where we've came, to now. I continually see us grow week by week, and I think it's positive for the future.
Joel.
Part of that growth, Austin, is Jaden Walley's performance too. It seems like week after week now he keeps making plays. I guess, when did he kind of get on your radar as a guy that for you guys was going to make a ton of plays this year, and just has what he's done the last few games, has that kind of, I guess, caught you by surprise at all?
No, Waller's a heck of a player. He's extremely talented and a great dude to go with it. He's humble, he works hard, he's all those things. I'd say probably towards the end of camp, beginning of the season, he really just started to pick up on the offense, the intricacies of it, started getting used to it, and he just continued to grow from there.
Ben.
Austin, kind of on the flip side of that, obviously you came back and dragged a couple guys into the end zone to pull it within, I think, 3 points at that point. I guess for you guys, the last couple weeks, I know you want to win games and it feels better to walk off with a victory, but at least the fight you guys have had in games, what do you kind of feel like that shows about this team and where you guys are at least, heading into the last couple games?
I thought we really had some great resilience. Like one of our main philosophies, just play the next play. Regardless of what happened before, you just got to bounce back, give your full effort, full attention, and play a hand. And that's why I tried to do my best. Obviously, I made a mistake. I tried to bounce back, do whatever I could to help the team. There's no moral victories, but I do think we are playing hard, playing tough. There's no quitting this team for sure.
Got time for just a few more. Anything else, guys? All right. Thank you, Austin.
Appreciate y'all.
We'll get started with Ben.
Aaron, obviously they've got some guys at receiver that are pretty slippery and can get lost a little bit. What was kind of the difficulty, at least tonight, defensively, and how do you guys feel like you guys played tonight?
We played pretty well. Early on, the tempo got up on us a little bit, but I feel throughout the game we was able to pick it up a little bit and execute what we had to do.
Just quickly follow up kind of to that. What is it like playing against an offense that does run kind of as quickly as that team does, and how do you kind of combat that?
It's something that you got to prepare for all week. They might get you here and there, but it's really about playing the next play and doing what you can to stop what they do.
Tyler.
Yeah, Aaron, obviously Jaden Walley is a guy that's come on really strong for you guys in the last couple of games. From your perspective as a defensive player, I don't want to ask you if this is surprising or anything, but what do you think kind of has allowed him to break out in the way that he has? And I'm sure it's something that you guys have seen in practice all year.
He's a young guy, but he plays like an old guy. He practices like an old guy. He's really like a little veteran out there, but he just really wants it, and he plays the next play and gets downfield and make catches that we need.
We'll go back to Ben.
Aaron, I kind of just asked Austin this too, but I know you guys want to be winning games, but with kind of the resiliency that you guys have shown, at least to hang in games when you're down and come back and fight back, I guess, what does that kind of say about this team and where you guys are at heading into the last couple of games, and how much has that maybe changed, if at all, over the last few weeks?
We've made vast improvements. All we can see is improvement in this team. Like Austin said, the grit that we show, it's almost unmatched. And I feel like further on down the road, we got some young guys that's stepping up. We'll be a great team.
Go back to Tyler.
Kind of going off of that, Aaron, what do you think is the next step for you guys, whether it's defensively? Obviously, you want to limit some of those big plays, but even as a whole team, what do you have to do to kind of get over the hump and maybe start winning some of these games that you guys are close in?
We can't let nobody do nothing to us early on in the game. We got to come out strong. We finish it strong. We got to come out strong.
Anything else for Aaron, guys? Okay, thank you, Aaron. Questions for Jaden? Start with Ben.
Jaden, I think you've got almost 300 yards receiving in the last 2 weeks against some pretty good teams. I guess, what do you feel like is working for you? What's clicking for you? Or are things slowing down a little bit? What do you kind of attribute it to?
I think it all goes back to practice and my preparation for the games, staying focused all week long, watching a lot of film, come in early, just keep my body healthy,
Robbie.
Jaden, you gave your guys a chance there after the 14-0 start. Y'all had the fumble and they ran it back and got the touchdown, but y'all came right back down and scored, and y'all were able to kind of keep pace the rest of the ball game. How did you feel like y'all bounced back from that offensively, from that fumble?
Just being able to play the next play, forgetting what happened early in the game, just playing the next play.
We'll go to Tyler.
Jaden, Aaron just said that you're obviously a young guy, but you play and you practice like an old guy, and you just mentioned some of the things that you do to be well prepared. Where did that mentality come from? What do you think it is about you that you seem like a veteran even though you're a true freshman?
I just like to work. Ever since I was younger, just always like to work. And I try to be the best as I can be all the time. and I think that's helping me out.
We'll go back to Robbie.
Jaden, I think we might have talked a little bit about this last week, but how would you describe your relationship with Will and how that's kind of transformed over the last few weeks, the last 2 weeks especially, since you guys have been able to connect for a lot of yards?
Practicing like at practice we just practice like everything's a game. Treat it like a game. When going against the scout guys, just mentally prepare and try to get open and see what's gonna work for the week. I think that's how our connection got the past 2 weeks at least.
We'll go back to Ben.
Jaden, you guys moved the ball downfield pretty quickly there at the end. It seemed like you maybe had a chance at the Hail Mary. What'd you kind of see there on that play, and what could you just kind of get muddied up in there?
Just run and go try to catch the ball. That's all.
You got time for just a few more. Tyler?
Yeah, Jaden, another question about Will. How much have you guys kind of enjoyed and relished in the moment of being true freshmen and being two of the, key pieces in this offense? How much do you guys talk about that, and how much is it, like a source of motivation for you guys to know that you're, the future is bright here for you?
I don't think about that too much. I just go out and try to play the next play hard as I can, and whatever happens, happens.
All right. Anything else for Jaden? Ben?
Jaden, on the one-handed catch, what'd you kind of see on that play, and I guess coming up, and what did you guys kind of see draw up there?
It just happened. I can't even explain how it happened. I just looked up and the ball was in. I had just threw my hand up to try to catch it.
I figure there's a pretty good chance you're going to be on SportsCenter. You ever been on SportsCenter before?
I have no clue. I don't watch all that.
All right. Thank you, Jaden.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Start with Ben.
Errol, they were pretty aggressive on fourth down tonight. Was that something y'all were expecting, and what were you guys kind of working through on fourth down and able to stop them and keep y'all in the game in the first half?
Yes, that's definitely something we prepared for all week. In the past, throughout the whole season, really, as soon as they cross the 50, they've been a go for it on fourth down team. I mean, kind of, the last half of the season or whatever. So I feel like on fourth down, we did some good things, and Coach Arnett dialed some pretty good pressures up here and there.
Tyler?
Earl, obviously this game means so much to you guys, and to come up just a touchdown shy and really have a chance there at the end with the Hail Mary. Just kind of describe what the feeling was amongst you guys and how you can kind of flush this and, realize you still have 2 games to play and try to, focus in on those.
It's just a regular feeling on that, after you lose any game, that sour feeling in you, that, that feeling of, it was right there in front of us. But ultimately it's about to work, no more victories. And we took the L today. Ole Miss was a better team, and we got to get better next week.
Joel?
Errol, just how challenging and difficult has the last couple of weeks in particular been for you guys to, not exactly have a ton of numbers defensively and things, and not just a ton of depth with guys out and such, but just kind of the mentality and things. What's it been like to have to go out there and fight, scratch, and claw, and then face a team like Ole Miss that has a lot of tempo and tries to wear you down a little bit?
It's just been the next man up mentality. No matter who's in there, we know we got to fight for our brothers. No matter how many guys we can rotate or the lack thereof. We just know it every week. I mean, since we've had low numbers or whatever it's been the case, we got to fight and claw no matter what the circumstances are.
Tyler?
Errol, I know they play on the other side of the ball, but with you being a senior, how impressed have you been with Will Rogers and Jaden Walley and what they've done for this offense? They've really been a pretty big part of what you guys have done this year.
I've been very impressed by those 2 guys. I mean, those guys. I mean, I'm not surprised though. Those guys, since they've got here, they've worked for it. So the success they have isn't it really a surprise for anyone in our building, because we know how hard they worked to get here, and they both have bright futures. I mean, you see Wally today, and some of the balls Will Rogers throws. It's not like freshman like, so pretty great future ahead for those guys.
Dan?
Errol, obviously they run with a ton of tempo and move pretty quickly and getting the ball off. What's the challenge with that, and how do you guys kind of combat that, and what was kind of the challenge of that tonight?
I mean, really the challenge with tempo is kind of you want to stop them on first down so they won't get the, get into their, tempo and fast pace. But the challenge with it tonight, I mean, I feel like, of course, like they went really fast. So, I mean, the challenge is just getting lined up and seeing the call. I mean, they got to get the call as well. So, as long as we're, quick and just get lined up to it and kind of just try to do our best, I mean, that's really the only hassle to it.
All right. Thank you, Errol. All right. Thanks, guys. That's going to be it for us tonight.
Thanks, Brian.